what a lovely woman she is, and so inspiring, you know.
I
know, I love the hair. And just bringing it home, today we're doing something that is special to my heart. We're making a beef stew, and the reason we chose a beef stew today is because it's one of my favorite dishes to make for my family.
And it's so cold now. To me,
Exactly.
I can just, it's going to fill up our bellies and I'm going to warm us up for this evening.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it.
Right, to get started with it, what we're going to do is, it's a typical standard procedure that when you're going to be making a stew, it is best to put it in flour first, because what that does is it helps for the sauce afterwards to bind and be nice and thick, because you don't want a runny gravy afterwards. So I'm going to just start by putting my meat onto this plate here, and then just brushing it, or rather drizzling some flour over it.
And you put some EXCELLA in. That's like a wonderful neutral sunflower oil. And it's perfect for baking, frying.
Everything. It's perfect for any type of cooking method. And the one thing I love about it, it has no smell or actual specific taste. So it actually enhances the flavor of whatever you're actually making as well. So I've floured our meat, and let's just go into the fryer, into the oil.
And then it's going to caramelize, and then you're going to get that beautiful beef flavor, because that is where the flavor lies, is when you do this.
Yes.
You first have to fry it.
Yes, the reason for that is because we want to seal in that moisture. So we want that nice little crust on the outside, and then we want that moisture in the meat to be sealed inside. That way your meat stays nice and juicy throughout the whole
Something is missing here is bones.
I know.
Where's the bones?
I know. But you know, next time I cook for you, don't worry, girl.
Yes,
I got you
please.
sorted.
I love the bones with a big like bone marrow. Ooh, and the fat around it, and sinewy.
I know exactly what you mean. All right, so let's just get that browning on the outside. And then the spices I'm using for today are spices that are, when I first started cooking, when I first learned how to cook, this was even before I went to chef school. The typical spices that I always have are barbecue spice and steak and chops. So I make sure that those are my staples. They're there. Obviously, now that I've become a bit more qualified, I add more seasoning here and there with different spices. That's why I keep talking about cumin.
There's nothing wrong with it. I grew up with a bottle of barbecue spice and bright spice, and that was all over the meat the whole time. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. And these days, people think it's too fancy. They come up with these fancy stuff. Bugger that. If you like it, use it. If you like the flavor, use it. You know?
Keep it simple, yes.
I talking about stews, I made a beef stufado this week.
Okay.
And it's a Greek stew, also made with beef, but they use allspice, cinnamon and cloves to flavour, not the barbecue spice. I think I'm going to like yours more. And they use some lemon zest in it. And I was really surprised, because it's also with tomato, but it is delicious. It was divine. Yeah.
I should try it. I've never even thought to put
allspice.
lemon. I know.
And allspice and cinnamon.
It's amazing.
But it's amazing.
Interesting. All right, so let me just put in the rest of our meat here, and then put the rest of our seasoning, because that's the idea with this, is we're not fully cooking it right now. We're just seasoning it, and then afterwards we're going to go in with the rest of the stew and all the ingredients to cut in afterwards. I've got my onions, my garlic, I've got the spices I mentioned, and we've got tomato sauce. And this was actually, you mentioned that the stew that you're talking about also is tomato based, which is...
Is that tomato sauce or tomato puree?
Just tomato sauce.
Really? Bottled tomato sauce?
Bottled tomato. Because the thing about it is it's got the perfect sweet, it's got the perfect sour, it's got the perfect seasoning in it. So you don't need much, basically. You just literally put in that sauce and all these other trimmings, and you've got your stew. Perfect.
I've learned something today. I have never done that, so thank you.
So let me go in with the rest of this, these ingredients. So now that we've cooked, we've got the stew sorted here. People will worry that, oh my gosh, the stuff that's burnt on the bottom, what's going to happen? That's actually flavor. Don't get rid of it. Don't go and rinse your pan now and you want to start all over. Don't worry about that. This is additional flavor. Go in there with the rest of your ingredients. I've got my onions, I've got my garlic, and I've got my spices, and I've still got brown sugar on top of that.
I love that brown sugar, because it's going to add that caramelization, caramelly flavor, that sweetness.
Yes.
What is sweetness in your language?
I can't even, I'd be lying to you. I'd be lying to you.
To me, man.
I'd be lying. All I know is emonati.
Emonati.
All right, so I've gone in with all those flavors here, and then we're going to let this mellow out together, and then we go in with our meat, and then I finish it off with some beef stock. Close it, let it cook, simmer for about an hour and a half, and then we are ready to go.
You can eat it with rice.
You can eat it with anything.
Yeah.
You can eat it on
I'll
a
eat
slice
it with
of bread?
pap. I'm a freak from the Vrystaat, so I grew up with pap, so I will have it with pap.
We should have a pap off one day. You and I, we make our pap, and then we just sit and enjoy.
So, Tooms, I'm going to make like a gremolata. So, as I said, I'm going to take it to Italy. And gremolata is just a very fancy word for some fresh parsley with some lemon zest. I've got a new zester here today. It's not going to fall apart like yesterday. Some lemon zest and a bit of lemon juice and garlic. And what it does, you just sprinkle it over the stew, and it's just going to lift the stew's flavour a little bit. Not that there's anything wrong with your stew.
Of course.
I'm just saying.
I know you. You basically take something from 0 to 100. So I'm all about that. Anything that adds extra flavour, I'm all about that. And so if anyone wants to add extra flavour to their dishes, they're more than welcome to go to our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, get the recipe. There's also any additional, like if there's anything they want to tweak, you're more than welcome to do that. This is just the basis how we do it in our kitchen.
Yes.
You're more than welcome to add your own flavour to it.
We just want to inspire.
Of course.